Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. You're going to find a way to win, you're going to find a way to lose, or you can find yourself being on snack. If you let somebody tell the story. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I've done multiple videos on snack. Now, Victor Conte has passed away. May he rest in peace. Everyone knows Hood Champion doesn't talk about the deceased. But I keep getting asked about snack. And people are saying, Claressa's on snack, Claressa's on PED, Claressa's cheating. I'm like, where are you getting that from? Because that would be all over the internet. TMZ, these big boxing platforms. That shit would have broke and caught on like wildfire. It would have been out here creating a roaring debate. So I haven't seen it. You know what I'm saying? And I think if that's the case, I guess Hood Champion's on snack and a drug cheat too. Just because somebody says it. Now, I'm going to tell you this, man. PED accusations, that's serious, man. I understand people don't like Claressa Shields. I understand people don't like Alicia Baumgartner. Some people don't like Shadesha. Some people don't like these different women in boxing. I get it. I see what people say out here. You know what I mean? I see what people say. The other day, I heard somebody talking about Katie Taylor, but they didn't like her because the fight with Serrano in the second fight and the headbutts, and they'll never like her. And I'm like, what? I get it. I just put it this way. I get it. There are boxing fans and there are people who just don't like some of these fighters. But I got to be real, man. You know, if you're going to come out here and say somebody's on PEDs, give the facts. Don't give what ifs and hypotheticals and I believe it. Nah, man, that's some serious shit. All right, that is. I remember being back in the day. Y'all know I got stories for days, right? I talked about it the other night. You know, and I'm being real with y'all. You know, I remember being at being in the gym. Lifting weights. I've been lifting weights since I'm a guy been lifting weights since I was like, they got me that weight since I was 11 years old, 12 years old. 11, 12? Little bullshit weight set, man. Came in a little small box and I'd be in my room, man. Had a little small wrench. I had to loosen the bolts to take those concrete weights off. It was like a little 50-pound set. But I used to do it. But anyway, fast forward. Joined the military. I've been in the military like 14 years at this point, and I'm up in the gym. This is true shit, and I'm going to get to this stuff about PEDs. And I go in there, I throw on, 135, do it 10 times, 185, do it 10 times, 205, do it 10 times, 225, do it 10 times. Then I would go to 250, do it 10 times, 275, do 3 sets of 6, 295, do 3 sets of 4, 315, do 3 sets of 2. And then I would jump up to 350 and do like 3 sets of 1 with no spot. You see how I was able to rattle that off to you? Because I'm not making that up with no spot. And then on some days while I wasn't doing all those sets, I would just go to 315. I would do like, 4 sets of 3 to 5 with no spot. But what ended up happening is there were some haters in the gym. They were hating on me. They were hating. One, because the ladies and shit. And 2, because they couldn't push that kind of weight. And it'd be 3, 4 guys around talking shit, being clowns, instead of focusing on working out. And they'd be watching me. They'd be like, hey, you need a spot? Like, no, I got it. Because I'm not a guy to talk to a lot of people. Like, I'm not all that nice in real life, people. And on the internet, it's different. But in real life, I'm not the most friendly person. But I had a friend I started, he was a trainer, fitness trainer, and he and I became pretty cool. He used to bodybuild and shit, so he used to always see me here like, yo, you strong, man. I'm like, yeah, all right. And he was like, you ever thought about bodybuilding? I'm like, nah, man, I just lift weights, you know what I'm saying? So we ended up becoming kind of cool, man, because he was shocked to see how much I knew about nutrition. Then he found out, that I used to fight and shit. So we just had some things in common. And then one day, man, when you become cool with people, me, I don't like all that messy stuff, man. Like, keep that negativity away from me. I've always been like that. People who wake up every day being negative, trust me, they're miserable. Especially if you got kids and you out here acting like an idiot, you're a miserable person. But then he ended up telling me, like, yo, them guys are out here saying that they think you're on steroids. I'm like, what? I said, well, that's a compliment to me. If they're watching me and the way I'm performing, and they can't understand how I can come in here and push this weight with no spot, then I take it as a compliment. And I said, I've only been working out since I've been 11 years old. And the guys started laughing. But anyway, every time I used to see them guys, when I used to come, they used to try to say, hey, what's up? I used to just look at them. I wouldn't even say nothing to them. You know what I mean? It got real uncomfortable in there for them. You know what I'm saying? But I kept my cool. But trust me, it took everything in me not to, something. Because they were spreading that bullshit about me. I was in the effing military. What steroids can I do? But that's just from eating curry fucking goat, rice, green banana, cassava, breadfruit, salt fish. You know what I'm saying? That's where that power came from. From eating good food. You know what I'm saying? Drinking coconut water and shit. But that being said, with Claressa Shields, she deserves a lot of attention for a lot of things. I'm just trying to understand how she's at the center of a familiar but serious conversation in boxing when it comes to PEDs. Like, where those accusations come from without confirmed evidence. I've heard people say, like the other day we were talking about Alicia Baumgartner. She tested positive for some stuff, but she was able to move beyond that. She was cleared of any wrongdoing. So Canelo, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of fighters out here who test positive of things and get cleared of it. There are some fighters who test positive things and don't get cleared, and they got to get suspended and serve their time. So it's fair to bring that up about people who've actually tested positive. Once you test positive, it's fair to bring that up. Now, if you can prove that, hey, something was corrupt or contaminated, or you get cleared and somehow you get cleared, well, then we have to accept that. But when people bring that up, fans may not like it, the fighters may not like it, but people have every right to bring that shit up because it happened. But with Claressa, I'm just saying she's never tested positive for anything. Terrence Crawford has never tested positive for anything. And I think that's why you see that fans are split into two camps right now. You got one side saying, yo, we question everything. We question everything. We believe it. And you got the other side that's demanding proof before the judgment. Now, as far as why these accusations happen, look, the reality of modern boxing, right, and in today's era, fans are more skeptical. Social media amplifies speculation. They got people out here, that's all they want to do, is throw out random shit because it gets views and clicks. But that's just the reality of modern boxing, you know what I'm saying? Fans are going to be skeptical. Social media amplifies speculation, then dominance often triggers suspicion. And when you look at Claressa Shields, she is pretty dominant when she gets in the ring. So if that's something that triggers suspicion, I mean, for a person who may not like her, well, you're giving her a compliment. So if you're trying not to say something nice about her, you actually are saying something nice about her, because you're saying she's so dominant that something has to be off. You see, when you have a fighter who's successful inside that ring, who has confidence, who's visible, the scrutiny increases. Now for Claressa, she has all the scrutiny in the world on her. But it's not for her coming in the ring and demolishing opponents and knocking them out. She does not do that. She has all the scrutiny on her because she's out here making all the wrong moves with that attitude, and that big old crazy mouth of hers. So to put that spotlight on her for being on PEDs without any proof, I think that's just a little bit crazy. I think there's a major difference between discussion, which, I'm all about the conversation, and accusation presented as fact. Without a failed test, without official sanctions, there is no confirmed wrongdoing. So I don't understand where this shit came from. I'm being honest with you. I heard people talking about Gennady Golovkin was on PEDs. I'm like, where'd that shit come from? Because he was one of those guys who was so dominant that they were like, he's got to be on something. He was out here knocking everybody out. They were saying Bernard Hopkins was on PEDs. Old man Hopkins. Jean Pascal was accusing that man of PEDs because old man Hopkins was a grandpa in the ring whipping John Pascal's ass. He couldn't figure it out. He said this guy is dominating in his 50s, 40s and 50s. Successful, confident, highly visible. We need to scrutinize this guy and start to accuse him of being on PEDs. Although there's no confirmed wrongdoing and never has been any confirmed wrongdoing. And you look at Bernard Hopkins right now, he looks better now at damn near 60 than he did when he was fighting in them late 40s and 50s. George Foreman. I heard some bozo say George Foreman, oh, man, to come back, don't tell me that Foreman grill putting out chicken breasts like that. Bullshit. That ain't just protein. It's just not Yardbird making him that strong. George Foreman had to be on the cocktail too, Hood. Now to that I say, in the most respectful way, to you, McNicholas, hold your goddamn horses and stop taking it to the stupid. George Foreman was on PEDs, and again, he's deceased, may rest in peace, but that just shows you the people out here on the internet, they're not real. They're not real. They'll present anything as a goddamn fact. Without any failed tests, any official sanctions, no confirmed wrongdoing, they'll throw shit to the wind and see what sticks. Now, I understand Claressa Shields. You know, I've been watching her like a lot of y'all, but I've been watching her, man, for a long time. With her style, her physical profile. We know the attitude doesn't make her very likable. But sit that shit aside for a second here. We're talking about boxing, right? What defines Claressa Shields? And you can apply this to any fighter out there. Try to define that fighter. IQ, high level for Claressa. Super fast hands, strong conditioning, volume punching. All the shit she's had since she was an amateur. Nothing's changed. I didn't put power in there. I'm defining Claressa Shields. High-level IQ. We all agree. Fast hands. We all agree. Strong conditioning. Expanded gas tank. We all agree. Volume punching. We all agree. That's how she was as an amateur. Key traits. Above average for her divisions. Her speed. Her speed is what gets her over. Stamina. That's one of her biggest strengths. Her stamina and her speed. That is a wicked combination. As far as power, she ain't. To that I say, in the most respectful way, hey, yo, hold your horses and stop taking it to the stupid. She ain't known as no one-punch knockout artist. I'm not saying she can't thump, but she ain't coming in there tranquilizing nobody. She ain't Brian Norman Jr. and shit. She can't hit like that. So again, what are we talking about? And as far as her defense, functional, she's not untouchable, but because of the way she's able to up it and overwhelm her opponents round after round after round, it's hard for them to catch up to her. But her defense isn't great, but she has good defense. Her offense is her defense. Now, I'm going to give you this, is what I call a critical observation. Her style is built on skill plus endurance, not sudden, unnatural physical transformations. And that's why I'm sitting here. I'm like, okay, they're accusing this woman of being on PEDs or some kind of wrongdoing. And I'm like, all right, what did she do differently in the last few fights? I mean, we're all here watching this saying she doesn't look nothing like she used to look when she was fighting at the lower weight classes. So all of a sudden now we're going to come and say she's doing something unusual, something that creates separation from her past performances to her present performances. I thought she was looking like shit. I mean, now she's looking better than ever. I don't think so. I think she gets in the ring and she's winning at heavyweight, but she doesn't look the same as she did at the lighter weight. At the lighter weight classes, man, Claressa, and this was before all the drama. Everybody was out here supporting Claressa Shields. Everybody was talking about it. Oh, ain't nobody gonna beat this woman. But she decided to go up to heavyweight, where she's comfortable, and she has her reasons for being there. And I think I ain't gonna get into that. Right? I'm gonna try to just stick to the boxing shit. But we all know the things she talks about and draws attention to. That's why I think she like having that weight on her. But at that weight, I haven't seen an unnatural physical transformation. And even they were talking about the abs, and Alicia Baumgartner, like, I don't know, is that AI or something? I'll be honest with you. Somebody else said that could have been spray on. I learned that you can actually have sprayed on abs that give it an appearance. Because I just have to question if somebody just told me that, right? And I did a video and talked about it. But the bottom line, as me with a critical observation, she's always had skill. She's always had endurance. She's not showing me anything different. Now, I'll say this. If she was knocking people out, then of course you got to question that. Someone doing something that they're not known for, like Conor Ben, and then he tested positive for PEDs. You got to look at him with the hairy eyeball. She doesn't fit in that category. Now, I understand the training regimen. Typical elite fighter model. Now, a lot of the daily routines are going to vary, but fighters at that Crawford level, that Shakur level, that Mike Tyson level, that Floyd Mayweather level, that Andre Ward level, that Joe Calzaghe level, that Caballero level, that Usyk level, that Lomachenko level, that Devin Haney level, right? Champions. Their routines may vary, but they generally follow, when it comes to conditioning, road work, distance, and sprints. High level, high intensity interval training, strength and conditioning circuits. These are things they do for conditioning. Then boxing work, pad work, sparring, bag drills, defensive drills. Then there's the mental preparation, film study, strategy sessions, reaction drills. All of this matters because elite conditioning can explain the high output and late round stamina without needing to assume anything beyond discipline plus repetition. Discipline plus repetition. For the last month, I've been consistently working with my 8-year-old, soon-to-be 9-year-old. I don't put my kids on the internet, but I probably should have taken him and started a YouTube channel for him just for his journey. I always messed around with my kids with boxing because I love boxing and I can train somebody up to a certain point. Then I would need the professionals to come in, right? But for that little guy, and to see him now, even my oldest son was like, my oldest son was like, Dad, what the fuck? I said, yeah, I know. Just watching him. But it's the discipline and repetition. I'm watching that in an 8-year-old. And I'm like, Jesus, what's going to happen if we stick to this? You know what I'm saying? So with Claressa, I got to say the same thing. She has all of those fighters have discipline and repetition, not just Claressa. Then you got the diet, nutrition, and supplementation. These are elite athletes, people. They understand nutrition basics, man. Lean proteins, chicken, and fish. You know she cooked fish, Puerto Rican fish. They understand complex carbs, rice and oats, vegetables, micronutrients, hydration focused. I mean, that's nutrition basics. They understand that. And supplementation, protein powders, electrolytes, vitamins, minerals, common and legal shit. So then snack comes into the picture. They got stuff over there, man, that's common and legal. You know what I mean? I'm not aware of any wrongdoing. I think what's really driving all of this about Claressa and snack and fighters and snack, Victor Conte, may he rest in peace. I don't like talking about deceased people, and I'm not going to say nothing bad about him. But what I'll say is he made a statement which he should have never, ever said. And what he ended up saying is something along the lines of he knows how to pass the PED testing. He knows how to pass it. You know what I'm saying? So when he said that, they put that jacket back on him. And you got people out here on the internet who are taking that and running with it. And Victor Conte, he told the truth. You know what I mean? He told the truth. It's like Dr. Usman Sajjad, the guy who works with Tyson Fury. He came out and said the same thing. He actually said you'd be stupid to get caught if you're doping or you're on PEDs. It's so easy to skirt the system. So when you get these guys who are qualified, right, saying shit like this, makes you wonder how many people are doing it. And Claressa is a pretty easy target right now to go after because everybody kind of slamming her and shit. But she's created her own misery. So trust me, I ain't defending Claressa Shields. She with the shit she's done and how she's conducted herself. But for this shit with PEDs, I'm not so sure that I'm gonna say I don't think that's right what they're doing to her when it comes to that, unless they have proof of wrongdoing. Now, if there's something like that they have, then put it out there. But I'm not aware, and I follow boxing. I follow Claressa when it comes to the boxing. A little bit of the drama, but I haven't heard anything about that. I did hear when somebody was saying, oh, she was using an IV. I mean, you hear all kind of shit, but there's got to be proof. Now, if people have proof, they need to put it out there, and then maybe I haven't seen it. You know what I mean? Y'all know I don't be on the internet like that, so if there's something that was put out there, I mean, then send it to me, and I'll go take a look at it. But I don't want to hear no he say, she say. Show the goddamn facts, and then we can work with that. But I just think it's important to note, right, that legal supplementation, it's standard across the sport. And it's not the same as performance-enhancing drugs. You know, it's one thing I think some people forget. I think some people forget that, look at some here, is her influence, man. You know, I'm being honest with you. I think some people forget her influence. Her influence and the alignment with elite fighters. Anybody can benefit from this alignment. Anybody can. If you're aligned with Terrence Crawford, Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather. Let's just stop right there. Did y'all hear the names I just rattled off? Terrence Crawford, pound for pound, retired, undefeated. Floyd Mayweather, pound for pound, retired, undefeated. Andre Ward was a pound for pound, retired, undefeated. Shakur Stevenson is a pound for pound great, still active. Keyshawn Davis is heading that direction. All these guys undefeated. This is who Claressa Shields is aligned with. These are the people who mentor her, who help her. That shit is a big deal, man, to be connected in various ways to these elite level fighters. That means those fighters they're known for discipline. They're known for skill development. They're known for technical mastery. To me, any fighter out there would jump at an opportunity to have those guys surrounding them and helping them, you know? And it's important context. None of these names are associated narrowly or broadly with any confirmed PED violations. So being around elite fighters improves knowledge, preparation, and mindset. So I'm just out here giving the facts, man. Now, if she's doing something wrong, trust me, if she's doing something wrong, she's burnt so many bridges that the shit's gonna come out. It's gonna leak. But I gotta be honest with you, when I look at performance consistency, just a career observation, I mean, Claressa Shields, forget the attitude. Forget all the Remy and papoose. Just forget that shit, right? We're just talking about her as a fighter. My career observation, she's generally shown consistent style, similar physical output, no dramatic, unexplained leaps in power. She's not showing anything that has me scratching my head. And there's a critical detail, because in fact, some fans are arguing her recent performances, like I said, don't show improvement in dominance. She looks more vulnerable than ever. And that matters, man. Because with PED suspicion, that shit often rises when there's a sudden physical transformation, which I don't think we've seen any sudden physical transformation from Claressa Shields. She did look in good shape for her last fight. But I look at things through a different lens, because I'm a guy who used to do I used to do all the different fitness challenges. I used to powerlift. I used to lift weights. I used to box. I used to run marathons. I still run and work out, but not like back when I was younger. I used to do all that shit. I know how it is, how easy it is to put on muscle and bulk up if you do it the right way. Break it down to 5 or 6 meals across the day. I know how easy it is to cut weight with the right diet, small meals. Break it up to about 4 to 5 across the day, and then with the diet and exercise and everything else. I understand. So so when I watch her, I'm like, I don't really see, I'm not seeing nothing to make me suspect of any PEDs, And again, PED suspicion often rises when there is sudden physical transformations, unusual power spikes, and that pattern is not clearly evident here. You know what I'm saying? So somebody tell me something, because her champion ain't seeing it. Now, I'll tell you this, there's a big danger of unproven accusations. This is where shit start getting dangerous out here, because they have a bad impact on fighters, man. Matter of fact, there's somebody out here who's had there's one guy, he had a cease and desist pushed all up in his mouth from Terrence Crawford, because he was out here talking stupid, accusing that man of being on PEDs. And he got that cease and desist put up in his ass. Then he started getting uncomfortable. He started squirming. Again, chasing them stupid ass clicks. I mean, talk your shit, have your content, have your little sense of humor and all that, but don't. That's crazy to me. Now, I'll say this: if somebody tests positive for something, yeah, talk about them. Talk about them. Shouldn't be out here cheating. Boxing dangerous as hell, man. What you doing out here on PEDs and shit? Especially if you already got speed and power and you're going to get in the ring and have that shit enhanced 10 times, you potentially kill somebody. Don't get me wrong, man. My heart's made up a kind of way where I know people have families and shit, and I would hate to know that now somebody can't take care of their family, especially their children. But if these guys are on PEDs, man, they got to be handled. Do they deserve a lifetime ban? I think it's just the repeat offenders, but if somebody does it, they definitely deserve some fines, and they deserve to be made to feel very uncomfortable. Hit them in the pocket. Nobody likes losing money. But when you got these accusations without proof, it can damage somebody's reputation. It can affect opportunities. It can influence public perception permanently. But also it can backfire on a person who's spreading these goddamn accusations and spreading these rumors, because now all of a sudden you find yourself getting a cease and desist or a lawsuit, and now it's hitting your pockets. There's some big social media personality out here who got somebody gave them the business and they're still uncomfortable. So people got to watch what they're saying. Because trust me, when every day you come out here and you're talking about somebody, you're disrespecting someone, you're disrespecting their family, Just because people don't respond to you don't mean that they're not making notes of this shit. So people got to brace themselves when the comet strikes because you ran your mouth too much. And the whole world's seeing it. And the whole world don't like it. And there's people who aren't even aligned with the person, the people you're talking about, who will come out here, man, and drop a bomb on your ass. So I think any and everybody out here who's spreading bullshit about people and being negative, they got to be very careful. Because I understand the psychological effects. I look at the fans, I'm listening. Fans, they're like, ooh, they talking because suspicion spreads quickly. Look at how they did Baumgartner. Baumgartner wasn't doing nothing to nobody. She had her ups and downs in the past. She out here breezing. Baumgartner, yeah, she a little bit chippy. She got some mouth on her, but she was, I mean, nothing going on with PEDs, man. That resurfaced, and now you got a lot of people, when they look at her, that's what first thing they want to talk about now. These are people who didn't even know that she had a failed PED test in the past. That's the past, man. She worked through that. I still ain't quite sure what all happened. I just know she was cleared of any wrongdoing and I left it alone. A YouTuber didn't clear her. Nah. She got cleared by the right people. So when that happens, you just gotta say it is what it is and move on, you know what I mean? But because people want to come out here and spread bullshit about her, now you got people who weren't even into boxing, who's just now kind of taking a little bit of interest in the boxing because of all the drama with Claressa Shields. Now they out here talking trash about Alicia. That shit ain't cool. And it has an impact on fighters. Just like right now with Claressa. Her reputation her brand and reputation wasn't that good anyway, but she did that to herself. But when it comes to the PED shit, that's really hurting her now. Will it affect future opportunities? I don't know. I think the stuff she's done and the way she chose to portray herself on the internet is affecting opportunities. As far as the public perception, I mean, the public, when it comes to the perception of Claressa Shields, I already think it's been permanently damaged. So anybody talking about PEDs, I don't think it hurts her anymore. Just people just kind of like, oh, well, we're not surprised. You know, that's just the mentality of a lot of people when it comes to Claressa Shields. But I think for other athletes who don't have all that drama, it creates pressure and distraction. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's some principle here. When it comes to sports, allegations require evidence, not assumptions. It's always cool to have a conversation, but you can't be out here with these allegations with no evidence. And fans are split. You got side one, skeptical fans. They believe where there's smoke, there's fire. Questions everything in modern boxing. That's how I am when it comes to that Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder shit and the Kinahan. I believe there's some shit that happened there. I believe Wilder got cheated. That's just my opinion. That's what I believe. But I've done my research. I've given y'all a bunch of facts as far as things that people Tyson Fury was associated with, the individual he was associated with, and the things that he was known for when it come to influencing outcomes of fights and intimidating people, etc. And then we look at how the fights went with Wilder and Fury, and you saw some things that make you feel like, this look a little bit funny. But I always say there's no proof. But there's a lot of smoke. And for where there's smoke, there's some fire. And I've questioned everything about those fights. But with skeptical fans, again, they're going to question everything in modern boxing. Now, the evidence-based fans, which I'm also one of those. So I can be a skeptical fan, I ain't going to lie. But I'm also an evidence-based fan. Where to me, I'm going to demand, okay, where's the failed test? Where's the official findings? Before I believe anything. I was the same way with the Tyson Fury Wilder shit. I didn't believe nothing. You know how many people hate me? You defending Fury. I'm like, there's no proof of nothing. What are you talking about? I said, yeah, it looked a little bit funny, but I don't know. Then I went and did some research. You know, once I start doing research, you know, I'll uncover some shit. And I uncovered more than what them fools knew about. And when I went in all the shit I found, I said, oh yeah, this doesn't look good. So for Claressa, if they're finding something, they need to put it all out there. Something to make somebody say, okay, what's this? Not trying to twist shit. No, I came with just factual shit. And I was showing them, look right here, this article, look, this person, what they said. I was able to show that, and that's why there were people who started to say, I think you may be onto something. But for this thing with Claressa, I'm just like, where is it? You know, you're going to come out here and attack these women are being on shit, or men are being on stuff. Where is it? But I'll tell you one thing. This is the reality. There are skeptical fans. There are evidence-based fans. But the reality is both sides are reacting to trust versus skepticism in the sport of boxing. So I'm about to go jogging. But the key conclusion here when it comes to Claressa Shields, she has a piss poor attitude. We agree. But when it comes to those gloves, when you forget about everything you don't like about her, from her mouth, the Christmas goddamn gift giveaway, being with Papoose, the Remy situation, everything about her, whatever you don't like, sit that aside, just look at her as a fighter. She has proven skill, consistent performance traits since the amateurs. And she's not been officially found guilty of any PED use. And she's not doing anything she hasn't done before inside the ring. She's still winning the way she's always won fights since the amateurs. I mean, that's it. If you get a male or a female who's not known for knockout punching, not being a knockout puncher, and they turn pro, and they're not known for being a knockout puncher, then all of a sudden they start knocking people out, you got to question that shit. It's like Conor Ben. You got to question his ass. Even when you go to Antonio Margarito, he wasn't really knocking people out, then he started knocking people out, then you find out the man had goddamn bricks in his gloves. Kermit Cintrone, I know he had them in his gloves when he fought Kermit Cintrone, and we know he had that shit in his gloves when he fought Miguel Cotto and probably other fighters in between. And Shane Mosley popped his ass. Nassim Richardson, they flagged them gloves and wraps, and bricks fell out that shit when they were sitting there getting ready to get in the ring and fight. They had to rewrap the gloves, and that padding fell out. The kind of pattern like the cast material, once the moisturizer hits, it starts to set and become like brick. So that's what this fool had been fighting with. But again, those knockouts made sense. He wasn't doing something, all of a sudden he started doing it. Then there was no accusations, no. Nobody suspected anything. Then his ass got caught, and he wasn't the same fighter after that. He still had conditioning. He still had what IQ he had, but he just didn't have that thump on them shots anymore. So when we come to Claressa, I'm not seeing her do anything. Again, I don't think she looks as good as she used to look. That's just my opinion. But she's always had proven skill, consistent performance traits, and she's not been officially found guilty of PED use. So I think people need to be careful saying all that shit about her. You know what I'm saying? So the bigger message is in boxing and the sport overall, criticism is fair. Debate is normal. You know what I mean? And that it's cool to criticize and debate, but accusation without proof, that's a different level, man. That's a totally different level. So the final thought is, hey, Hood Champion could be on Snack 2 in the drug cheat if you let people tell the story. How the hell this man run for an hour and do a live? He about to be 51. So Hood Champion on Snack. When I'm out here, man, lifting weights and shit, I'm on Snack because I'm about to be 51. I ain't supposed to be benching 300 pounds. I ain't supposed to be benching 325. I don't get under that heavy shit like before, but I hit it the other day. That shit hurts my body. I ain't supposed to be underneath it. I got tears. I got all kind of shit wrong with my shoulders and all kind of pain. I ain't supposed to be doing it, but you know, every now and then I go out there and see if I still got it. But then I pay for it. But look, Shields can face criticism for her attitude. She can face criticism for her public behavior. She can face criticism for coming out here, man, ranting and raving online, doing these lives, trying to debate with fans, argue with fans, ranting and raving, cussing, carrying on. She can do all that. We can come out here with that horrible music, that rap music. Yeah, whoa, yeah, man, please. She can do all of that. But when it comes to PED claims, the evidence got to come first. That's all I'm saying. And I haven't seen any evidence, any proof or nothing. Matter of fact, I haven't even watched any videos because I don't be on the internet like that. But everybody keep hitting me up asking me, and I'm like, I've been heard about. I've been known about Snack. Snack ain't new, but the little bit of talk about Claressa Shields, and Terrence Crawford, I heard that. That's no proof to none of that. Nobody been able to prove none of that bullshit. And again, when people going at Terrence Crawford, I think they had to put a cease and desist all up in somebody's mouth. So people just got to be careful because I know some of these people out here, entertainers and athletes, they'll sue your ass. They will sue you. So you got to be careful with all that bullshit, man. The evidence has to come first. And if there's evidence out there, then I'll take a look at it. Then I'll start doing my videos. Like, okay, so-and-so was able to prove that, somebody was on PEDs. But if not, ain't really nothing for me to say. You know what I'm saying? I just think with these growing PED accusations, people got to be careful, man. They got to put the proof out there. But I'll tell you what, the shit creates a must-watch for boxing fans. You know what I'm saying? Because half of the boxing fans, they want noise. They don't give a shit about facts. They just want noise. The other half want the facts. They're like, you making noise, we hear you, but give us the facts. We don't want no unfair speculation. Is your skepticism justified? Give us something. That's why fans are split. That's why I did this video. Because I don't know nothing about Snack. And if you let these people tell the story, Hood Champion could be on Snack too and a drug cheat. But I'm not. That's just nothing but dumpling, saltfish, and washing that shit down with a goddamn shandy. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.